Today I thought it would be interesting to see how much of an upgrade it would be to go from the Galaxy S21 FE to the new S24 FE. So let's go ahead and get started. The price of the new Galaxy S24 FE is actually $50 less than when the S21 FE was released a couple years ago. Now it still starts out with 128 gigabytes of storage for the base model, but you now get 8 gigabytes of RAM instead of 6, and it can go up to 512 gigabytes instead of 256. Obviously you can see it's got a different design now with the S24 FE to look a little more similar to the rest of the S24 series. And probably one of the first things you'll notice is just how much lighter the S21 FE is at only 177 grams versus 213 for the S24 FE. The S24 FE is also a little taller, a little wider. You'll also notice on the S24 FE, it's now got a larger 6.7 inch display versus 6.4 inch. Both of these have a dynamic AMOLED 2X display with 1080 by 2340 resolution and up to 120 Hz refresh rate for both. Kind of interesting when you put these next to each other, but the bezels on the older S21 FE actually look smaller than the new S24 FE. Not a huge difference, but you can definitely notice when you put them right next to each other. I feel like the older S21 FE actually looks a little more vibrant, has a little bit better contrast, where some of the colors look more faded on the S24 FE. It's not a huge difference, but when you put them next to each other, you can definitely tell a difference. Overall though, both have really good screens, as usual from Samsung. The other thing I notice is at certain angles, the colors look a little more bluish on the S21 FE, but they look closer once you look straight on. One area where it's a nice upgrade from the S21 FE is when it comes to battery life. The S24 FE lasted about 12 hours in my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness versus 10 hours for the S21 FE. So if you're wanting better battery life, the S24 FE is a nice upgrade. You also have wireless charging on both phones as well. Now software wise, it's going to be very similar considering both are on Android 14, One UI 6.1. They both have Samsung DeX. You also have the Edge panel over on the side. You also have the choice of Samsung News or Google Discover left of the home screen. And the fingerprint scanner is in pretty much the same spot there on the front as well. To me, probably one of the biggest differences in the software is you get 4 years software updates, 5 years security for the S21 FE, but the S24 FE now gets 7 years of software updates, just like the other S24 series of phones. So I can see some people upgrading to the S24 FE for the software updates alone. Again, pretty similar when it comes to software. Not a huge surprise, but these two are going to be almost identical in most cases. Now, one of the more interesting things about these two phones is when it comes to performance. The S21 FE that I have has the Snapdragon 888 versus an Exynos 2400E in the S24 FE. And as you can see by the Geekbench scores, the older S21 FE is actually a little more powerful in single and multi-core scores. So kind of surprising considering the S24 FE is 2 years newer. I feel like the S24 FE has good performance, but it's definitely not the upgrade that you would think, considering these two phones are 2 years apart. The speakers on these two are pretty close as well. I feel like the S24 FE might be a tad better, but here's a quick sample of each just to see if you can tell a difference. Not a huge surprise here, but the cameras on the S24 FE have improved slightly over the S21 FE. You've got a higher resolution 50 megapixel main lens versus 12 megapixel on the S21 FE. And then both phones have an 8 megapixel telephoto and 12 megapixel ultra wide. Kind of interesting, you've got a 32 megapixel front facing camera on the older S21 FE versus a 10 megapixel on the newer S24 FE. But in real world use, I feel like they're pretty similar. So you can't always go by megapixels. Still kind of weird that it's that much different though. Another advantage for the S24 FE is you can now shoot up to 8K 30 frames per second for video recording versus 4K 60 frames per second on the S21 FE. So obviously there's a couple things that might make it worth upgrading to the S24 FE. Battery life and longer software updates, especially if you have an older Galaxy phone. But surprisingly, the S21 FE still holds up better than you would expect for a 2-year-old phone. Not to mention how good and light the S21 FE feels compared to newer phones that are now boxier and quite a bit heavier. I've got some more comparisons for the S24 FE to a couple more phones that I have, plus I've got a lot more stuff that I'm working on, so you'll want to keep an eye out for those upcoming videos.
So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.